Was Abraham Lincoln a president?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was just a whatever public figure.
Welcome to Delulu Diaries, where the timelines don't match, but the receipts always do. Today we're going to be talking about the Code Red incident because I realized that a lot happened with that I didn't even know about, on top of the fact that I did recently just talk about it and I got a small detail wrong that you guys corrected me on. So I wanted to refresh my memory, and that's when I saw all of the extra content that I was not aware of. But before we jump into that, I just want to give a huge thank you to my amazing channel members. You guys' support means so much to me. You have no idea. And I am so incredibly grateful for the little community that we're building here. And to everybody who's watching, liking, and subscribing, you guys mean so much to me too. Thank you for being here. If you have not yet become a little Delulu, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button to join us here. But let's go ahead and jump straight into the video.
Code red and don't throw it at someone's head.
Oh my god.
That never happened.
I don't know. I was just saying. It's from lore.
What happened?
I said code red and don't throw it at someone's head.
Code red at someone. Someone got hit with
It's
a
Amber
pop.
lore.
My ex lied and said that I threw a Code Red can at her head. I'm not like a violent person. I can be like controlling and stuff like that. It definitely, yeah, like violence is not my forte, I will say.
So as you can hear, Amberlynn clearly says that her ex, which is Destiny, said that she threw the can at Destiny's head, but I went back and found the clip because you guys said that that's not correct. That's not what Destiny said. And you guys, of course, were correct. Destiny did say that it was thrown at her car, not at her head. And even at the time, I sort of felt like that was right. But just because of what Amber said, I took her at her word, which honestly, that's my fault. I obviously should not have done that. So let's look and see what Destiny had to say.
Let's see. This is November. I think I said that, by the way. We had gotten to a big fight at some point. And I don't know what we were arguing about, but then I think either my mom or my mammy called me about going over there because my mammy was going to my mom's and she was like, hey, we're going to cook. You guys should come over. And I was like, heck yeah. You know, like I was ready to go. I hadn't seen my mom in a little while. I was ready to go over there and eat some good dinner and what have you. Well, Amberlynn didn't want to go. And I said, that's fine. You don't have to go. Because, I mean, like I said, all that drama from before with her and my mom, they were just tense. But she didn't want me to go. And I was like, okay, well, it's been a little while since I've been over there. Just, you know, I'm going to go over there. And she was just, like, throwing a big, just fit. I don't know how else to describe it. She was crying. And I know it was a Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand. She will swear to you that this didn't happen. I've talked to her about it before, and she swears it didn't happen. So I don't know why she thinks that, but why would I make this up? I would try to walk out of the house, and I know I had this Code Red Mountain Dew in my hand, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. So, and because we were already arguing, I was like, I don't want to be around you anyway right now. Like, we were arguing. I wanted to go see my mom. She starts screaming at me from the sliding glass doorway, saying that she's going to harm herself if I leave, and I don't know, just all this stuff, you know, just going nuts. And then I was like, no, you won't. You know, I said, that's not something to play around with. Just let me go see my mom. And she starts, like, coming at me, you know, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So I get in my car, and I leave the can on my top of my car, and I closed the door real quick and I locked the door, and she's like telling me to get out, all this stuff, and she ends up throwing the can at my car. Made me mad.
So regardless of if Amber threw the can at Destiny's head or at Destiny's car, either way, that is not an appropriate way to respond to this situation. I know I don't have to tell you guys that, but I'm just saying it doesn't make the situation much better, but I will say that at least we can say that in this particular instance, Amber was not trying to cause bodily harm to somebody. So, you know, I guess points for that, but at the same time, she's the one who made that story a lot more dramatic in her retelling. And I don't believe that she misremembered the fact. I think she purposefully made it sound worse because according to both her and Destiny, this is an event that has been talked about multiple times between the two of them before it was ever brought to the internet. So I think that would kind of stick in your mind if somebody's making up a story about you, which is what Amber is claiming. You would remember the details of what they're making up. Now, in this next clip, Destiny talks about what they did after the fight, and that's what sent me down the rabbit hole where I found so much more information.
And I want to say I ended up not going. I don't think I did. I'm like 98% sure I did not go to my mom's. I ended up just going back inside and dealing with her. And then I don't know if that's the fight that might have caused it, but right after that we also got into an argument, and that's when she let me open a present, and it turned into opening all those presents.
This happened. Hey guys, so happy November 6th. We had the day off today. We ran some errands. We came home. I started to clean. And then Destiny turned on our song, which is Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. We started dancing together. And then I was like, hey, Destiny, you want to open one of your gifts? Just, I don't know, just out of the freaking hell of it. You made the cats run.
So the only background we get from Destiny is that they were fighting, and then that led into the Mountain Dew thing. But when we go to the vlog that she referenced, we can see that, first of all, Amber does say that this is in November, as does Destiny, so that timeline does match up. And then Amber's recollection of the day is that they both had the day off, which I think Destiny would have mentioned if they were working, and that they went out to run some errands together, and then they came home. Amber started cleaning, which even at this time, I think that was a little far-fetched. And then Destiny, just for no reason, puts on their song, they start dancing, and then they open up the presents. If we assume that both of them were telling a little bit of the truth, I think that this is a version of events that could make sense, but keep in mind, I am just speculating. They go out on the town to do errands, and they get into a fight, just like that time that Destiny accidentally called Amber Pookie, and they got into a fight at the Walmart, and Destiny left. So clearly we know that they are not above fighting in public. So they fight in public, they come home. Destiny's mom calls and invites her over for dinner. Destiny wants to go, so she says that since they're fighting anyways, she's going to go. The Code Red incident happens as Destiny describes, and then, like she said at the end, she went in to kind of settle Amber down and deal with her instead of going to dinner. So that would make sense that she goes in, she starts talking to her, and to lighten the mood, she puts on their song, and then they get into a better mood. Amber realizes that she's messed up and she needs to rectify the situation, which we've seen her do before, such as in her argument with Tommy. And then she's like, oh crap, I've really bungled this situation. I need to buy back Destiny's love, and I already have all of these Christmas gifts. So why don't I let her open a couple of Christmas gifts? And then as she started opening them, Amber was like, oh, Destiny likes this. She's having so much fun. Things are way better right now than they were when we were out in the parking lot. So let's just keep this going. And I don't know. To me, that makes sense from what we know of both characters. It makes sense that Destiny just doesn't want to fight, and so she's going to do whatever it takes to get out of the fight. It makes sense that Amber's trying to buy Destiny's love back after a major argument. But again, that's all speculation. Now, the other thing I completely forgot about is that after Destiny talked about it, they had a bunch of back and forth, and this is where I felt like things got really interesting, and you can see Amber contradicting herself a lot.
Mountain Dew can story did not happen. I can say that. Even while me and Destiny were friends, she would bring that up, and I would say that did not happen. I do remember there being a time where this was when I was doxxed for the first time ever in my life, and it just felt so scary. I had really bad anxiety going on because of that, and just because of just like, you know, my mental illness. I wasn't medicated at the time. I didn't see a therapist at the time, like nothing like that. She wanted to leave, and I was like really scared because it was like the day after I was doxxed, and I was telling Destiny like, no, please don't go. I don't even remember there being an argument. I don't remember that happening. I'm not a violent person at all.
The Mountain Dew incident did happen. I told y'all she was going to say it didn't. I didn't lie about the Code Red thing. I think I just said something about that a minute ago. The only thing that I can think of that she actually like lied about is this Mountain Dew incident. That happened. Okay, I told y'all when I told the story that she's going to deny it because she always has denied it. I don't know why. She's always denied it. Do you think Amber blacked out during the Code Red incident? Apparently, since she does not remember it, it happened.
So I have always believed Destiny's version of events, but when I talked about this before, I did let you guys know that there's no proof. So we have to kind of take both of them with a grain of salt because both of them could be lying. One person could be a little bit more correct than the other. We just don't know. However, when I said that, I was thinking about the fact that we know that Destiny has lied on the internet before, and that talking badly about Amber on the internet brings a little bit of like clout. So that would be the only reason she would lie, the only thing that she would have to gain. However, when Amber uploaded her video on June 3rd saying that her and Destiny had discussed this as friends privately before it came to the internet, that completely took away any doubt in my mind on who to believe here, because if she was bringing it up to Amber with no other incentive other than just talking to Amber, then why, like, that truly is no benefit to her. You know what I mean? It sounds like it was during the time that they were, quote, friends, so she didn't have anything to gain by gaslighting Amber at that time, because they weren't in a relationship anymore. They weren't, like, you know, commingling their lives in that manner. And she didn't have anything to gain because it wasn't on the internet for clout. So that just makes me feel like it's one of those things where it's like the axe forgets, but the tree remembers, if you guys know that saying. And so I'm like, yeah, well, Destiny would remember because it was something that hurt her, but Amber wouldn't, because that's just another day of her being a little unhinged. So I'm fully on Destiny's side now. Again, there is still no proof, but to me, this is like definitive enough for me to really take a stand on that. On top of that, somebody asked Destiny if she thinks that Amber blacked out during the fight. And I think that that is a possibility. Amber herself says that she was having some issues with her mental health at the time, that she was unmedicated and not going to therapy. It's possible that if she didn't black out, that she blocked out the memory and just doesn't have any recollection of that going on. So I don't know, even the fact that Amber would say that she doesn't remember it, but that she remembers an exact circumstance that would lead up to that kind of thing, and then provides the excuse that she was unmedicated and wasn't going to therapy, makes me feel like she does maybe kind of remember or think that it happens, but she's trying to escape accountability for it.
The Code Red incident. So when she shared about the Code Red incident, like she was saying how I freaked out because she wanted to go see her mom, right? She wanted to go see her mom, which means her mom was not around, right? So she wanted to go see her mom and I wouldn't let her. But yet in her newest live stream, she said, and I quote, "The only person who was a witness to this was my mom."
The only person that would be a witness to that is my mom. And if I could call her and ask her, y'all know I would, but I cannot, so.
How could she have been a witness to the Code Red incident if she wasn't even there? She's really trying really hard to like use these like big words like witness and everything else.
I know Amber means that she's trying to use more serious words like witness, but her calling witness a big word did make me laugh, so I just had to say that. Either way, I think that it was pretty clear that the way that Destiny meant it was that her mom was like a witness to the fact that it happened, in the fact that she called her mom afterwards to talk about it or something like that. Not that her mom was literally standing there, but I did want to be fair to Amber's argument and include this clip so you guys could see that I guess that would be the counter argument to Destiny's story, that she called her mom a witness and her mom wasn't there. But I feel like it was the same way that Amber will be like, oh, you guys can ask Mama Lynn, I called her all the time to tell her about how horrible Tommy was, as if we can ask Mama Lynn because we don't have her number or anything. But like I said, I just wanted to include that so you could see like a counter argument potentially, but I still believe Destiny.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is people making fun of
Mistreatment.
So a really good example of this, I just feel like I needed to be a voice of reason here. I understand that I'm Amberlynn Reed, the forever villain of this freaking community, whatever, but I just need to be the voice of reason. We're going to use the Mountain Code Red situation as an example. I have said over and over that that did not happen. That is not how the events played out. I will stand by that, and I will forever stand by that, because I don't get physical with people. I'm not going to throw things at somebody.
Are you sure about that?
How bad did the tantrums get? What was the worst? But the worst of the tantrums was actually the night before Rarity went missing. She saw me scrolling through my phone and there was women on my Instagram feed. She flipped out and said I was micro-cheating. That was the first time she got physical with me. She threw things at me.
You're saying if I could hit someone, I would? Okay. I can throw this at someone's head.
Did Amber throw a glass at your mom? Yes, she did.
I could take this and throw it. I'm just not a physically person.
I told her I was going to leave the room. She then grabbed my arm and dug her nails into my arm to the point of drawing blood.
All I remember is she got mad and she grabbed my arm. Dug her nails into my arm.
I tried pushing past her to get through the doorway and she pushed back. into me and actually falling on top of me.
So to me, it does sound like she has a history of physically mistreating people as well as throwing things and scratching. So, you know, I would not take her at her word on that, but surely she won't lie about anything else.
I'm not going to threaten self-harm. I have never done that and I won't do that. So I want to make that very, very clear.
So when she was on bus, unfortunately, I can't pull the clips because everything's been taken down, but she did multiple times use the threat of feeling like she didn't want to be there anymore, that her mental health was in the gutter, that, you know, she was just really down in the dumps. And she even had a conversation with Tech on their 7K stream where she talked about talking to him behind the scenes about wanting to self-delete, if you know what I'm saying. And because of that, somebody actually called a welfare check on her. And she had the audacity afterwards to complain and be like, oh my gosh, that was not for my mental health and well-being. That's just because people wanted to mess with me and people just love sending people to my house. Like, I'm fine. I don't know why you guys are being so dramatic. So clearly she doesn't even think it's a big deal, you know? So she has done that before. And then I have some screenshots up on the screen right now of a Hecticana video where he discusses a time when she did threaten self-harm, and in the comments people are adding other times on top of the one that he talks about. So clearly she does have a pattern of doing that.
But I do want to say, let's imagine for 3 seconds that all of that, what Destiny did say, is true. There is a reaction channel, Jordy. Hello. I know you're watching because you are also obsessed, and that's how you make your money. Him making a parody out of
mistreatment
is disgusting. It didn't happen, but in Destiny's brain, Destiny's mind, whatever it may be, just imagine for 3 seconds that it did. Just imagine for 3 seconds if I was to make fun of someone else's like
mistreatment
story or whatever it may be. That was the first time she got physical with me. She threw things at me.
Just to be transparent, I don't agree with Jordy doing that either. And I do watch some of Jordy's videos. I haven't watched any in a very long time, but there was a time when I would tune in at least weekly to see what he was up to. But I really did not like seeing the Code Red recreation, even when it was like at the time of posting. I didn't really like that. So, you know, I can agree with her point there. However, for her to say that, knowing that she goes on to mock Emily's mistreatment is kind of crazy, because not only does she have the clip that I included here, but there's another one where I can't find it, but she literally went, Emily said, help, help, you pushed me, in that kind of a tone. So for her to be like, it would be crazy to mock somebody's mistreatment story. Girl, you did it too, and you were the mistreater in the case. So anyways, I was just kind of surprised to see that there was so much back and forth about this whole Code Red incident, and I already, like I said, believed Destiny, but now I feel even more like her story makes the most amount of sense, because it doesn't make sense that she would just make it up and bring it up repeatedly over the years with no like benefit of being on the internet or anything like that. If she was just talking to Amber about it casually, that makes me feel like it is something that happened, and Amber either just blocked it out or doesn't want to acknowledge that it happened, and so she doesn't. I feel more inclined to believe that Amber truly does not remember it happening, but I do think that it took place. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Amber remembers what happened? Do you think she's fully lying? Do you think that Destiny is the one lying and that Amber is the one telling the truth in this case? I'm really curious to see what you guys' thoughts are on this, but either way, if you made it this far, you already know. Stay Delulu, but not that Delulu. I'll see you in the next one.